Over the course of this semester, we have learned a variety of tools and theories which apply to second language learners and second language acquisition. As a teacher, it is important to understand the process and theories that support second language learners' abilities and to be able to use methods of instruction in the classroom that will best suit them. To begin with, SLA is the study of individuals and groups who are learning a second language in addition to their first language as a child. Some of you may ask, what is a first language? A first language is seen as a primary language. It is a language that is learned from birth or within a critical period of time that makes a person speak and is the basic of a person's identity. A second language is typically an official and dominant language that is needed for education, employment, or other basic purposes. People who have a second language are typically immigrants or minority groups, but not always. There are three basic understandings for a second language: a foreign language used in education or travel, a library language that is used as a tool to further learning, or an auxiliary language, which is a language needed to use as a functional setting. These are foundation to understanding the basic of second language learning and teaching. This involves a wide range of language settings and learner characteristics and circumstances. L1 and L2 are divided into three basic stages. The first state is called the initial state, the second is called the intermediate, and the third state is called the final state. In the first state of learning a language, learners are said to have the innate capacity to learn them, and there is certain controversy about whether a genetic disposition plays a factor in learning a second language. In this stage, learners have the knowledge of L1 and interaction skills to build to L2. The knowledge of L1 helps build a transfer from L1 to L2. In the intermediate state, or second phase of learning a language, learners have influence from vocabulary, pronunciation, and all other structures that are cross-linguistic. There are necessary conditions in which students must have progress to this state, from feedback to motivation. When a learner gets to the final state, it is the outcome of L1 and L2 language. It is considered native linguistic competence. There are basic phonological and grammatical systems present in the final state of learning. Learners also have interaction skills that are adequate for fulfilling communication functions. Another part of SLA is to understand the process and frameworks. Frameworks for SLA are very detailed and can be broken down into the areas of linguistics, psychological, and social theories. Linguistic learners are motivated internally and externally. Psychological theories support a cognitive learning process, and social process is the context which surrounds a person that learns best. Thoughts and languages go hand in hand. The nature of language is systematic, which means that they have occurring principles that continually appear and patterns in reading and writing. Language is broken down into 6 basic things: structuralism, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and lexicon. These 6 things are all foundational and they all work together. Structuralism emphasizes the importance of different levels of production in speech. Phonology is sound system, which is students' ability to learn the sounds of a language. Morphology is the ability to see how language are put together in sentences and out of context. Syntax is the relationships of words within the sentences, such as ordering and agreement, and the relationships of words. Semantics focuses on the meaning of words, and lexicon focuses on the vocab development. There is research that supports that there is a difference in way learners learn and why some are more successful based upon factors such as age. One of the debatable things that has been discovered is students have a critical period in their lives when they best learn a language. Learning a language at an older age means that you have less brain plasticity and that you may end up with a foreign accent. Another factor that can make a difference between learners is the sex of an individual. There is some research that shows that women are more attentive to details than men. Therefore, they must have a higher cognitive ability and learning styles that are more attentive to learning. Research still shows that this is not as true as it would seem, and more things are being discovered every day. A third thing that can be a factor and reason that some learners are more successful than others is based upon learners' motivation. The time and effort in which a person puts into a language will show how much they can get out of a language. Another thing that can contribute to learning a language is whether they are intrinsically or extrinsically motivated. That does make a difference. A fourth thing, and perhaps one of the biggest reasons that there is a difference in learners, is due to personality types. Research in the past have assessed for second language learners and have concluded that there is a relationship with languages and personality types and whether a person is extroverted or introverted. and the level of anxiety that a person carries. With that being said, there are also specific strategies which contribute to learning a language. The main types of strategies are metacognitive strategies, which attempt to regulate language learning by planning or monitoring, cognitive by analyzing using direct analysis by relating a thing in one language to another language, and social affect, which involves interacting with others and having opportunities to speak with others. Two outcomes that are related to SLA and helping teachers understand the process which student learns a second language are additive bilingualism and subtractive bilingualism. Additive bilingualism is when learning a second language does not interfere with learning the first language. Both L1 and L2 are developed. On the other hand, subtractive bilingualism is when learning a second language interferes with learning the first language, and oftentimes the second language replaces the first language and can even have effects on ethnic identity of individuals. Another thing that contributes to language learning are the stages of learning a language. Studies have shown that a development of a second language is done through several speech acts. Stage 1 is minimum language, Stage 2 is memorizing routines and frequent use of imperatives, Stage 3 is less use of those routines and formulas, Stage 4 involves complex language and mitigation, and Stage 5 is the offering of requests. People have also argued whether learning a second language is essential through interaction. Through interaction, it is said that learners begin to comprehend and really put pieces together to see a larger picture of things. Learners need the opportunity to interact with other speakers and make meaning of the words they are saying. One more contributing factor in learning a second language is noticing hypothesis. Through noticing hypothesis, it is said that nothing is learned unless it has first been noticed. Richard Smith hypothesized that second language learners could not acquire a language unless they became aware of its input. This has been an ongoing controversy. And finally, the last component of learning a language is practicing. Practicing is a behavioral approach and is effective if one practices the behavior they wish to learn. Practicing helps cover procedural knowledge and declarative knowledge. It's important to remember that practice makes progress and not perfect. It should be interactive and meaningful to learners. Have a better understanding of the theories that support second language learning and tools